Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
Welcome back to the Launch Box. This week we're joined by the inspiring Chloé Watts, founder and CEO of ChloéDigital, a creator-first agency helping content creators build profitable and sustainable businesses. With over a decade of experience, she's seen how tech strategy and community can come together to power long-term impacts. Today we'll be exploring what it really means for women to be using AI in the digital world. So please welcome to the podcast, Chloé Watts. Right, before we get into it, if you like this episode, which I know you're going to, please don't forget to like and subscribe and to share it to your group chat. Well, thanks for being here. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, this is epic.
No, you are epic. And I love the way that we chat and you sent me a message and you're like, there is so much information that I want to share with women when it comes to AI. And I'm like, girl, get on and do a launch box. We need to know.
Yes.
So I'm so pleased we've made this happen. Let's start because I've known you since I started my management company up, and I was like,
I was trying to think how long ago that was.
So that would have been like late 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've known you since then, and you helped me pull my digital space together because I had and still have no clue, no idea on the back end, but you did all that. So let's start, I suppose, with a little bit about you and how you discovered your own passion for tech and how, I suppose, that career path started for you.
Sure. So, I mean, as a child, I didn't realize I was techy. Obviously, you're just living your childhood and having a great time. But I was the kid that was always so excited about the new computer, Microsoft 95. Take you right back. All of the new computers, and my dad would always have the latest computer in the house, in the kitchen. That's where you had the computer.
Right.
And I'd always be obsessed with going on it. And as I grew up, and then I was also kind of interested in fashion, going to secondary school, I'd go and get Teen Vogue and get all the cool magazines, and I loved those magazines. But then I was also interested in things that were more tech-based. So on the way home from school, I'd jump off the bus and go and get the Car Phone Warehouse magazine to see what the latest phones were going to be out. Because back then we had our 3310 and then we had, all of those phones. So I was so obsessed with what the latest technology was. And then in terms of academics, I always loved maths. That was my favourite subject at school.
Right.
English, when they used to pass the book round for you to read the paragraph, that would be my worst nightmare. But when it came to maths, I never wanted to leave. So I just think it was something quite natural within me that loved that. And of course, I didn't know what that would mean for my future. I was just, being a kid and enjoyed that.
And I suppose when you're in that space going back then, I suppose we didn't really have we didn't really have it around us that we knew anybody in those fields. We didn't really have access to knowing that actually there's going to be, in years to come, there's going to be a huge space and you could have a really fast-paced job in AI. No one knew that the kind of the opportunities were endless in the tech space at that point. I don't think we were really exposed to that.
We weren't. And that's why sometimes I think everything is written because for me, when I went to university, my parents hadn't been to university. They were just excited that I was going. So I was actually going to do a video production degree.
Wow.
And that's actually a degree I did, but there was a module that was called web design. And that was my first time, so at 18 years old, realising that people actually made websites and there was a career path in that. Before then, I had no clue. I just thought it was just something fun that I could do on the side.
Well, it was all just new. It was all kind of really evolving at that time, right? I know that you were coding MySpace pages at 15.
Yeah.
Which, MySpace.
I know.
Gosh, that takes me back. The top friends.
Oh.
Being dating a guy, being I'm not in his top friends
Yeah.
yet. Huge news. And when you make it, getting ready to let the confetti off.
Yeah, right? And then you'd come home from school and I would be updating my profile however I was feeling. I think JoJo was out at the time, so I was making my profile rain. I was always, whatever emotion I had, I was also the girl doing the hacks on MSN Messenger. When you get the notifications that would ping up, I was that girl doing all of those things.
You were the girl in the group chat. There you go. So you're really enjoying it. You've got a clear passion for it and a clear strength in that space. And then you launched, fast forward to 2014, you launched ChloéDigital. What motivated that leap for you?
Sure. So around 2012, I got let go from a job that I was in. So I graduated from university and then I became a junior developer. That was the only thing I could think to do. I always had the passion to start my own business. My parents really drummed into me financial freedom, and the way to get that is to start your own business. So I knew I would want to do that, but I didn't know how. So I thought, let me go get a job. Let me learn like how a business is run, and then eventually I can start my own. But I wasn't thinking I was going to start a business that young, because I just thought that was something that you did when you're older.
Yeah.
So I left university, and then at that time, around like 2010 to 2012, the blogging scene started to come up in London. So all the OG bloggers, you know, this was just when everyone was taking their pictures on the streets. And because it was such a small community, there was a few events that would happen. And because just the girls were my age and I was theirs, like I just would just go to events and just meet people. And they were bloggers. And because I was a developer, what would happen is they would say, oh, what's your blog? And I'd say, oh, I don't have a blog, I'm a developer. And then they would have this massive rant about how their blog wasn't working and it's broken down and I don't know what to do. I asked my boyfriend and he's going to ask his friend who knows tech, but he doesn't understand like what my problems are. And then I would open my laptop and then I would take them through what was wrong and how they could fix it. So I would say, okay, the reason why like your site is going so slowly is because you've taken these amazing photos. They're like 10 megabytes per photo.
Yeah, high res.
And you've uploaded them on your blog, and now like your hosting has a really small size. So therefore your site's not going slow for that reason. You have to optimize your image before you put it on. And the look in their eyes when I would say that, I still remember it to this day, because they felt so empowered to go ahead and do what they're doing because of that conversation I had. And it was just a massive unlock for me so young that, okay, I could create something that could empower women to live the life of their dreams with tech. I don't know what that could look like now, but I know there's something here, because these women, and this is before none of the bloggers were making any money. So it was pure passion. But I just saw just how much enjoyment that they had and how much commitment that they had to these blogs, you know, and I just loved being a part of that with them.
It's so incredible. And as you say, like, they would ask their boyfriend and then he knew one of his friends that could help. Women in that space was kind of really seldom to none, right? And you must have really felt that.
100%, because it was like, oh, like my girlfriend's kind of doing this thing, but it was crazy. Because of that, I ended up becoming this kind of girl geek next door that like the girls would share my number. So I would get a text and be like, hey, you know,
so-and-so passed me
your number, but this is happening. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And I just loved it. I'd be at home, and I lived at home with my mum at the time. And at 10 o'clock at night, I'll be on the phone with them trying to fix their blogs.
And there's no better recommendation like than that old school word of mouth recommendation. Like there's a real buzz that you get from that. So ChloéDigital was then born in that vein, and then I suppose begun as tech support for creators, as it were. How did clients and how has their kind of evolving needs shaped growth for you in your business? Because I suppose as tech grows and things move along, we're now, and this is what we're going to touch on for the majority of this conversation, we're now sort of moving towards AI-powered tools. How does that change the kind of growth of your business?
Sure. So, yeah, as you said, I started with tech support, right? It was very, very simple. And I thought, oh my gosh, this business is going to make me millions, like tech support for all of the bloggers, game changer. But as the industry grew, and then I needed to upskill. So then I learned email marketing, I learned SEO, I learned social media, because obviously the demands for my clients were changing.
It's kind of a 360 picture too, right? It's all in.
Exactly, because it was turning from this like side project that you had this blog and then you went to become a stylist or you went to go work at a magazine, to actually this blog is a revenue stream and a business. Exactly. So therefore they needed new ways to attract people to the website, to deeper engage them, etc. So I just continue to learn and would support them. And then as time went on, I realized that I was in an amazing position where I was working with hundreds of incredible influencers around the world. all of the top OGs I was working with, and it was amazing. You know, like we worked really closely together and it was fantastic. But what I found was my deep passion of empowering women from this tech, of that essence that I felt from the beginning, I was sort of losing it a bit because the necessity for the tech for that group was less and less because Instagram became the main thing. So then it was more about how does your video content look? How are you storytelling from your content versus the actual website itself? And it moved in that direction. So although I continue to move my business in that way, there was a disconnect for me. And it's a funny one because you grow your business and it's successful and you have a team, but then you think about your own essence and you think, okay, well, I'm not really living that ChloéDigital dream that I first envisioned, that like this Chloe, me, feminine energy in this harsh techie world. Like that was my vibe. So to be honest, I did a lot of soul searching. You know, I was thinking, okay, what does this look like? And I just kind of putting one foot in front of the other. And actually, when I became a mum and I had some downtime, which often women do when you're that mat leave, and I said to myself, you know what, like I have to live this for me and have to work out what does this look like for me, but couldn't tell what that could look like.
Yeah.
And then at that time, AI started to become this conversation, how everybody all of a sudden got onto ChatGPT. So ChatGPT blew up and all we knew of it to be was, we can ask questions like, what should I write in a birthday card for my partner? Or like just the most basic things, but or a recipe that like is local or whatever. And I tried it and I thought, okay, this is cool. Like I could see how this could help with writing blog posts or things like that for what most people use ChatGPT for. And then I started to notice that there was this second wave of AI, which was these, and we'll speak more to it, these more so coding agents, which enabled anybody to speak in natural language and have AI code something for them. So that was a huge moment for me because bearing in mind, so if you know my early career, I was the developer and then I was the business owner. So I'm managing a team, I'm managing all these clients. I'm not coding in the same way I did. You know, when we worked on your website, I wasn't coding it. I've got the project manager, I've got the designer, I've got the dev team, I've got this massive team that I'm running. So although I wasn't brushing up on my development skills, when I saw this, I thought, okay, so the same way I am typing in ChatGPT to support me and help me on a blog post, I can do the same thing and it can make a website? What? That's crazy. So at first, as the developer, I thought to myself, okay, that's going to be really helpful for me because if I want to create a technical product that I want to, you know, a problem that I want to solve via a technical product, I will be able to do that. But as the months went on, I realized actually this is going to connect me to that bigger mission that I always had because anybody can do this, you know? And that was just, a huge unlock for me.
And it's such an interesting outlook because so many people feel that, and we've discussed this on this podcast before, Vanessa Kingori at Google, you know Vanessa, she said, and this was last year, she said, look, you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody that knows how to use AI.
Yeah.
And I think that really dawned on me because I think we've all got this fear of the future looking like robots are going to take everybody's jobs and it's not going to be the real us sat here in person. It's going to be the AI us. And I think often we look at the scary side of AI and not how it can actually really add value to your life or to your business. So let's kind of deep dive into AI because it, as I said, it does feel like a scary place to lots of people. I'm sort of on the fence with it.
Okay.
I am using it. I'm like talking to it now and I'm getting into a bit of a rhythm, but I don't know. I got sent my first ever brief. I'm shooting a TV ad next week and I got sent a brief of myself, a glam brief that got put into AI for what they want the look of me to be.
Oh, really?
And I didn't like it. First of all, it looks like my sister. I was like, it's mad. This is like, you know, like when AI slightly changes your face in a picture. And it was just really weird. We got sent a hair and makeup reference and they'd like put the makeup they wanted on me.
On your face?
Which is wild. but yeah, I'm kind of like I'm aware that it's here and it's here to stay. So it's
Yeah.
like, how do I embrace it for the positive and not be really scared of it? And I suppose that our aim of today's episode is to leave our listeners feeling, you know, exactly the way that you feel, really empowered from the information that you can share with us. So let's start here, because when we first spoke and you voice noted me and you're like, Rosh, I think we need to talk about how women can really empower themselves. And there is so much that we're missing out on when it comes to using AI. So when it comes to female creators, entrepreneurs, what do you believe are must-have, I suppose, tools or strategies? And I suppose the question is, what do you recommend? How do you recommend that we start? Like, where do we start? We
Sure.
strip it back to the basics. Entrepreneurs that are curious about AI must have tools. And what are we doing with them?
Sure. So I think the first thing to note is that any new phenomenon, like, it's always scary at first, you know? Like anything, I'm sure people were nervous about the radio, the TV, the, you know, from going from black and white to Google,
Yeah.
like, you know, there's always something. I think the AI scares people a lot because it seems leaps and bounds from the reality that we had. But the AI that we know is not really artificial. It is like based off of a lot of information, like a supercomputer. It's a
Right.
lot of information that's able to process it in a higher level, right? So that's
In
just
0.01 seconds.
yes. So that's just something to
When
keep
you
in
ask
mind.
it something and you're like, how has it already written this? Like,
I know.
it's mind-blowing.
I know. So I think that's something to keep in mind. Then the next thing is like also what scares people is on social media. It's always like what you said, the AI clones come in, there's this a scam going around where people are calling people's parents and pretending it's you because they can clone your voice and say like that you need money. Like there's all these horrible things, but I think there's horrible things in every aspect. And that's not where I think that we should concentrate. Where I think we should concentrate is actually just our own needs and wants now and our own problems that we are trying to solve.
Right.
I think that's always the best place to start. So if you're a creator and you are, you know, you're trying to save some time with the content that you're trying to produce and you want to be able to batch content. So you might use a ChatGPT to help you break down your pillar content and how you can repurpose it to a carousel, to a reel. That's helpful. You had a problem. Now that ChatGPT has helped solve that problem for you. If you're a busy mum and but you've got 3 kids who like all different foods and it's super annoying, but you want to give them all different foods, you might put in your shop and you say, how am I going to turn this into different recipes? That's always my thing. What is the problem that you have now? And then is there a technical tool that can help me solve it?
Yeah.
Because for me, I think sometimes you can say, okay, there's these 5 tools, but there are a lot of AI tools out there. And I think the best place for people to always start is to say what problem that they're trying to solve and then put AI tool afterwards on Google, because then you would most likely find a tool that someone is trying to solve that for. There's tools for YouTubers that to help them with the edit process to quicken that up. There's a tool for pretty much anything. There's even this incredible website called there'sanaIforthat.com. And it's a website simply for you to search what your problem is, and it will show you that there is an AI for that because somebody would have built that. So if I was to give a tool recommendation, I would say start there because you'll see that there's probably something for a lot of things. But the reason why I say problem is sometimes if you're thinking solution first, you might not know the best thing to search for. But if you think about a problem that you think AI might be able to save you time or save you money, then that's what you should be searching for.
And do you think, I'm probably jumping forward here, but going back to the fears of AI and like when I say fear, I mean in a sense of people worrying that might mean it could take work off of somebody's time. And I suppose that when I think of like someone like a copywriter and like somebody that works hard to really sort of get under the hood of a brand and really understand their tone of voice and how that could look, like when you think of AI, it can literally do that in a second and you can tweak it until it's in the right place. There are little things that I'm like, okay, I could understand how that could directly impact somebody's career in that space. But do you think, AI always needs a human to drive it. Do you know what I mean? I think that the greater fear is that it takes the human element away from it and we're so removed. But actually, to work in the best way, does it always need that human prompt?
Yeah, love that question, because there is a term called human in the loop.
Right.
And it is a term used by a lot of the AI community, which is about the AI always needs that human in the loop to actually drive to the result that you're looking for.
So we're not going to be redundant altogether.
No, we're not going to be redundant altogether. And I think, yeah, there will be some job shifts for sure. But I feel like on the other side of that, it's going to empower people who want to be empowered to actually be in a better position than they were before.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying about with the copywriting. It's
But that's
like,
the one thing that I can think could be most obvious, because I think that's where a lot of people would use a tool like ChatGPT is to kind of, I don't know, write the bones of an important email or write the bone, you know.
Yeah, I just feel like it takes away, for me, that work whereby someone before would have been like, how do I describe it? The work where, the busy work. So it's like the work before that I would come to you and say, oh, Rosh, like, you know, I've done this, and it took me 17 hours. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, Chloe, like, you really put so much thought, love and care into it. But actually it was a lot of busy work that really shouldn't have taken me 17 hours to do, but you may have put more value on it because it took me more time.
Yes.
Whereby now I feel like with the AI has taken away some of that so that the humans can spend more time on the things that make sense and the things that only humans can do and drive value. Because I do think, like, as we get more and more into an AI world, it's actually going to become more important to be more human. So understand yourself more, understand your needs and wants more than ever before.
It's like just streamlining everything, like you say, losing that busy work. What new AI features or services are you most excited to roll out?
Sure. So the thing that I'm super passionate about is this concept called vibe coding. Right. So it's a brand new concept.
Rewind this. I need to, for somebody that just about can work her iPhone.
Sure. So like I was saying about with like a ChatGPT, or if you use, let's say, a Claude, right? And you are typing in and you're having a conversation about something, and then the output that you're looking for is a recipe, a blog post,
a caption,
the best jeans for your body type, whatever it may be. You can also use it to create, for example, a website or an app, right? So we're at a stage now where I could type. So let's say I wanted to create a website for Ladies Who Launch. I could open the laptop now, go on a Claude or a ChatGPT, but the ones that are more specific to actually bringing bringing your words to life are tools like Replit and Lovable. These are some of the very quickest growing businesses in AI because they're enabling people to create websites and apps just from typing. Wow. So let's say I was going to sit at the desk now for the next 30 minutes. I could recreate your whole website and then some, and it would be ready to launch before I left here.
Stop.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know. So I would be able to feed it with a really clear and concise prompt that could give it all of the information that it needs in order to create the website. So for example, I would say, I want to create a website for Ladies Who Launch. You know, this is an incredible community and brand by Rochelle Humes. What do you know about Rochelle Humes? It will send it to me. What do you know about Rochelle Humes' aesthetic? It will send it to me. Yeah, you're close, but here are some reference images of the look and feel that I know that she likes. Here's her Instagram. Here's a picture of her office, etc. Right? Then, so that's what I can say to do. Then I can give it, so that's like a task. Then I can deepen the concept by saying, you know, she really wants the website to have a really soft, feminine feel to it, because that's really important for the women that she's looking to attract. Okay. Then I can give it some references. So I can say her favorite shopping website is Net-a-Porter and her favorite brand is The Row. Here are some images of The Row.
Really good, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Here is The Row. Here is Net-a-Porter. Look at the fonts that they use. Like, look at the spacing between, you know, we know the editorial feel is like really lovely spacing. Clean. That's our aesthetic, right? Feed it all of this information. And then I can give that to the AI and it will then produce the website. Now, don't get me wrong. Most times, the first prompt, it's not going to get it.
Yeah, but the first draft of a website that you receive isn't always going to be the first one, right? It's kind of no different.
Exactly. So then at that point, you're able to evaluate. So you're able to review what it's given you. You're able to say, okay, I can see that it's done a good job here, but it needs better work here, etc. And then you continue to iterate. So you say, I love the font that you've chosen, but I think the spacing should just be a little bit more. So what actually happens, and what I'm excited for the future for women especially, is that you're going to be able to creative direct the build of a website or app just by typing.
I mean, it's like, it's life-changing. Do you know what I love about this? As somebody that started out as tech support web developer, that you are so pro this, because if we touch on what we were discussing before, is it going to take food off of your table or however that looks?
Yeah.
That actually you're so fully leaning into this as such a plus that it's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I say, like, I want to empower as many women as possible to have that, you know, not only financial freedom, which is important, but I feel like there are so many women that have this tech wall when it comes to bringing their ideas to life.
Yeah.
And because I have always been that techie friend to people, they will come and tell me the idea and they'll be so excited. Their eyes will light up. And then as soon as they get to what they think the execution would need to look like, they go weak. They go, oh, but, you know, maybe in the future I'll do it. Or maybe, and I'm like, whoa. No, maybe. Like, we're here. You know, this isn't something that you need to think about in 5 years from now. We're already here. So for me, like, because I've had that unlock and I knew what was the limitation for a lot of women before, I know that where these kind of tools are at now is going to enable that. So the joyous part for me is that there are so many female-centric problems that need solving. But because tech is a man's world, majority of the problems are solved from a man's lens.
Yeah.
So can you imagine you, for example, building an app or a tool from your lens, from your unique problems? I mean, you started My Little Coco from your unique problem. So imagine thinking about that from an app perspective, what you could create from your day-to-day life and the challenges that you're seeing that you could just, I know you're thinking about right now, we're going to start vibe coding.
Honestly, it's so, and it's so interesting. And I think a lot of people, if they're creative and they're excited about a certain thing and the tech side of their brain is not unlocked, that's definitely where I sit. To have that at your fingertips and have the access to that is so brilliant. Where do you think, and I suppose this is a really big one, so you might have answered this question already, but where do you think people will really start seeing success stories where AI-driven insights can perhaps shift results for them significantly? I suppose, like, if I was one of your creator clients now, where do you think I would see the best results, or where do you think people will start seeing the best results when it comes to AI?
So I think it's when they are using it, like I say, to solve a specific pain point that they have. And how can I think the best way always to start is like looking at how you can make one of your workflows just a little bit easier for yourself, whether it's personal or professional, at work or at home. How could you use AI to just save you a little bit of time and a little bit of money?
And what I find so interesting, my team were talking about in the office, were actually and this is just like wild to me, but AI in your email, that actually they can start screening it, moving it into folders, deciding whether that one's an urgent reply for you, and perhaps drafting a response to the latest email, and you don't need to reply to this one's just an FYI, but almost organising your inbox for you. I think
there's
that
a cool called Motion that exists 100%. You can even connect your notes app, right? This is a game changer, people. You can connect your notes app to Claude, which is like ChatGPT, and it will scan your notes and analyze it and identify themes from your notes app. So for me, that's game changer.
So give me an example. So like, what would that mean?
You're somebody who's always coming up with ideas, and maybe they're ideas that you've always had and you never start. So maybe you've got ideas from 2019 in your notes app that you probably forgot about. So it could maybe list 10 of the most viable ideas that you've ever come up with and you've saved in your notes app, for example.
Gosh, there you go. You're right. It's leaning in it leaning into it in the best way and making, if it takes a little load off somewhere, like then surely it's positive. What advice would you give to women building AI enhanced tools or businesses from scratch? So if they are in that tech space and that's what it is they're building, what would your advice be?
So I would say that to leverage the tools that exist and get really good at clear prompting, because prompting is, with AI now, especially with the tools, like they are becoming a little bit more expensive because now the tools are realizing how much people are using them and the cost to actually run them, right, on the environment, etc. So when you are using any of these tools, it's like a utility bill, like you pay for like how much thinking the AI does. So it's really important to ensure that you have strong intent when you are using the tools, if you're trying to build, to make sure that you are keeping your costs as efficient as possible.
Yeah.
Because the costs can rise because you get excited about all the things that you can create. So I would also say as well that like there's no difference now in building a technical product than there was before. So you always need to create an MVP, right? A minimal viable product. So just because now the AI can create a feature for you in 10 minutes doesn't mean that you need that feature in whatever you're building. Because if you're early doors and you need to test it out in the real world, then you need to always have something minimal. But to be honest, I think for the most part, I'm seeing people build who aren't techie. And I think the real potential is for those girls who say, I'm not techie, because actually, you know, you really don't need to be. So speaking to those women who have an idea and they've probably grassroots started to think about what this could look like. I feel like often women don't look in that vein to build anything because they're like, well, why would I do that? That doesn't seem like something that makes sense for me. But I would say that for them, being not techie is amazing because you are obsessed with the right things, which is the problem that you're looking to solve, the person that you're trying to help. You know, you're obsessed with all of those things. You're obsessed with like the feeling and the experience. Like, say if you're creating a physical product and you're sending out to someone and you want the unboxing experience to be magical, right? I'm sure that's something that you do, like, oh my gosh.
That's me to a T.
Unboxing. So to me, it's like the user experience of an app is like the unboxing experience.
Yeah.
You know, when someone lands on your website or your app.
And the discovery.
The discovery. Yeah. So all of that kind of critique and that passion that you have for physical product and how you're able to describe to your team, even what we were saying earlier, really describing what you want to create, that's what you would just tell the AI. You wouldn't say, and I need you to specifically have this 5-pixel width. You wouldn't say that. You would say, I want the unboxing feeling to be magical.
It's almost like it really being able to fully articulate. Is that getting what's trapped inside your brain out into kind of one sort of document?
Yeah, you know? Exactly. That clarity. And so if you understand that that's where you need to live and that's where you need to focus, then that's empowering because you can get there. Yeah. If you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to need to get a computer science degree and learn all of those things, then you're going to be like, absolutely not.
I'm going to put that thing off now because I'm not well versed in tech.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly that. So you're right. It's almost like that's where it's really shining for people that let tech stop them. Yeah. That actually they're the ones that should really, really grab hold of this and embrace it. Mm-hmm. How do you think AI can help female founders scale without overextending or falling into burnout? The word no one wants to hear.
Good question. So I would say looking to tools that there's a lot more conversation around AI agents now. So I know this is a term that also makes people feel a little bit scared. But even from within ChatGPT, you can start. So ChatGPT has an agent feature where it can basically kind of take over your browser and do something for you. So do your Waitrose shop or just do certain things for you. So that's something that I would say for people to do is understanding how they can leverage AI agents. So the difference between if you traditionally go on like a ChatGPT is you write something in, you have to write it and then it gives you something back, right? And you go back and forth. But an AI agent is you give it a set of instructions and what you want it to complete from beginning to end. And then it goes off and completes that and comes back and tells you it's completed it. So let's say, for example, if you're running a business and you may have an AI sales agent. So what this person's doing is looking for your potential customers, and then it's putting together a list of the people that you should be outreaching to. So that could be one AI agent that could do that for you. Then you can have another one that's actually sending emails to those people to see if there's any interest in your product or service. That's another AI agent. So that's something I would say for people to look into, is these AI agents. And that website I mentioned, there's an AI for that. You'll be able to find those, because what's going to be happening, I mean, there's this in the AI community, they're talking about in our lifetime, we'll have our first solopreneur billionaire, right? Wow. One person team. And every time I see that, I just think, oh, like, why can't that be a woman?
Yeah.
You know, why can't a woman be the first solopreneur?
Well, it can.
Billionaire? Exactly. It can, when women wake up to like what's happening and get on it.
Yeah.
And the reason why they say that's possible is because it will be this one person who has 5 AI agents, one for sales, one for marketing, one for each thing. And they're just doing their thing around that solo person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is like, I've not heard that before.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But you can completely see how it would be possible.
Can I ask you the weirdest question? Like now, like I've got some kind of actionable takeaways that I want to ask you, but this is so random, but you've got to remember, I don't know anything. The first thing, I mean, you know how sort of, how much of a technophobe I am. But what, like, when I talk to ChatGPT, right, I sort of picture somebody at the other end.
Yeah.
This sounds ridiculous, but I'm like, please, could you help? And I always say please and thank you, by the
me
way.
too.
I'm just not sure if someone is there, but it's like really offensive. Hi there, please, could you help me with that? And then I write, thank you so much. And I'm like, I don't know who's there, but I imagine it's somebody like, what is actually on the other end? Like, how does it actually look? And just this, I mean, don't burst my bubble, but I imagine that I've got somebody at the end of it. But I sometimes think like, what is it? Like, who knows my information?
Yeah.
How? And I think that is what actually scares people.
Yeah.
You like assume there's like a room of agents that are now like trapped in my work. Like, I think, you know, when like conspiracy goes mad.
Yeah.
I think that's what you think, that somebody is, I don't know, there's some like MI5 room somewhere and there's like loads of people that are now in your business.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
Just loads of computers.
Right.
Yeah, just a ton of computers. So all of these companies, all the AI companies, they are in droves, like creating these technology farms of just loads and loads of servers and computers to be able to run it.
And no one's in there.
Someone making sure no one steals the computers.
Right. It's actually mad.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't, I'd love to see like video footage of what it looks like at the other end. Like, not that we're all using it, and not that I suppose that it matters, but yeah.
I think it's because of how you get the response back and the tone, and the way it speaks to you is like a person talking back.
Rochelle. I'm like, oh.
And it's like, oh, that's a great idea. You're like, oh my God, thank you so much.
I feel like I have to be really personable, and I feel like I don't want to ever be slightly rude in case they like don't give me a great job. They do it a little bit half-assed. So
that's like me.
It's nice to be nice. Sorry. Just after we've spoken about all these agents and everything, I'm actually like, what is AI? Who's on the other end? Before we finish, I want to ask you to share 3 actionable takeaways that listeners can sort of put into action from this conversation right now, listening right now. So let's start with, if a listener wants to start using AI from this very moment in their business and haven't used it before, maybe they've done a recipe and that's probably tops, or they've said, what time is so-and-so on tonight? Yeah. When it comes to their business, what would be the sort of very first small step that you'd recommend they take?
Sure. So I would always recommend doing an audit on their existing business. So you always hear from me, my always first step is never something that's actually technical. It's just something that's in real life. So an audit on your processes, what's taking a lot of time, what could save them time, but also what could also save them money, especially as a small business. Yeah. You're trying to juggle so many different plates. So without going too far in the future and thinking, is there an AI for that specific thing? Just listing the things that actually could make the business more efficient.
How could you offload? Almost like, I suppose, if you were going to hire a member of staff tomorrow.
Exactly.
And you could put a pot of money together to hire that one person.
Yeah.
Like, what area would that be across your business?
Exactly. So look at that and then break those down into like different workflows. So the biggest mistake a lot of creative entrepreneurs say, I'm just going to hire an assistant that does 50 different types of things. And hopefully I find this magical person that doesn't exist. So it's the same with AI. You're not going to get it to do all of these different things that compete. So if you then break those down further into like what specific workflows. So if you was writing like an SOP, a standard operating procedure of how to do one thing. So you have to go on this website and then I click this button and then I do this. If you was to just kind of break those down, that would be the first place to start. And then you'll be able to go online and see if there is an AI that exists that could replace one of those workflows.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good advice. Next question. You might need a second to think about this. What are 3 free or affordable AI tools every woman in business should experiment with this year?
Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, so I would say I'll do 3 that are kind of different. That you've got Claude, you've got Perplexity, you've got ChatGPT. There's a few different ones that do something similar. Even Google's got Gemini, right? Which is amazing. So I would say try a different tool than ChatGPT, because you will then get a feeling of the responses that you get back and you might prefer something else. Most people use ChatGPT, but you prefer the feeling. And some are better than others for certain things. So one's better for writing, one's better for more deep thinking, etc. I would also say try Gemini, because Gemini, which is from Google, and they recently launched something called Nano Banana. And it is their...
I feel like you're talking a different language, but I'm following. I'm holding on.
It's called Nano Banana. I don't know why they've called it Nano Banana.
I mean, I won't forget it.
It's basically just their image tool. So it's the tool where, for example, you can upload a picture of yourself. You could also upload like 3 outfits and say, could you create me an image of myself wearing these outfits? And why it's so game changer, it's the first image model that actually gives you back the image of yourself looking like yourself. So you had that reference whereby you get an image back of yourself, you're like, oh my God, that's not me.
Look like me.
And you feel like so awkward and it's
Why
not
are you taking
cute.
all my bad features?
Yeah.
Bizarre.
So that's been game changer, because a lot of people are seeing how you could use this for marketing. So if you're doing paid ads, for example, you could use a tool like Nano Banana to create your Instagram ads.
Right.
And that's really obviously helpful for businesses, because you can put your product in it and then you can say, I want to have this product on the beach, and then etc. Right?
Okay.
So that's incredible. And then obviously my favorite is a vibe coding tool, which is Replit. So Replit is an incredible AI code agent. And like I say, you don't have to do anything to do with the code. You just need to type in it what you're looking to create, and then it will create it for you. And then you can be back and forth with it, just like you're having a natter with a friend about what you want it to create. And obviously, I think once people try, especially that last tool, the unlock that they get is insane.
Wow.
Because you see how when you speak to ChatGPT and it's like, it's so polite and it's trying to be helpful. The way they kind of describe the code agents like a Replit is it's like a junior developer. So it's just like someone on your team. So similar to you thinking who's behind it, just see it as like a just super cool person that's on your team that really wants to make the best website for you or the best app for you.
Right.
So it will give you back ideas. You say like, what do you think about this feature? And it will say, oh, I think that's a good idea, but I think we should wait on that because of XYZ reason. That's what it will say to you.
I love
and
that.
like, I'm not quite clear. Even if you're not quite sure on the prompt, you could ask it to give its opinion. And it will give you an opinion on if it thinks what you're trying to do is viable or not. So Replit is an incredible tool to do that.
I mean, it is. I can see your face like when you talk about it, like how passionate you are about it, and it is so clever. Once you lose the fear, and like it is really knowing like, is the fear of AI, and this is exactly what I asked Vanessa King-Ori, is it misplaced? You know, are we putting our focus in the wrong place where actually let it empower you?
Yeah.
This is a good one. if I don't say so myself, if a creator or entrepreneur only has 30 minutes a week to dedicate to AI, how should they spend that time for the biggest impact?
Love that question. So I would say how they should spend that time is to educate themselves and like really educate yourself. So, you know, there's a famous saying, I don't know who said it, but it's like, you only learn when you're on the field, you know? If you're in the stands and you're looking at what everyone else is doing and you've got your opinion, you're not learning nothing.
Yeah, for real.
But when you're on the field, that's when you learn. Like when you show up, that's when you learn. And that's where you get that kind of energy transfer of all of the amazing things that you could be doing because you're in the field with the other doers, you know, not the people that talk about it. So I would say if you've only got those 30 minutes is to find tools like the ones I've mentioned, like Replit, Gemini, etc., and start playing with them.
Right.
Start writing things in and just seeing what you get back. And it doesn't need to be anything crazy. It doesn't even need to be something that's going to be so game changer to your business. I think sometimes when there's that added pressure, like, oh my God, it's going to save me hundreds of pounds or it's going to do this. It's like, it's too much because you don't fully understand its capability yet.
You've just got to get familiar.
Yeah, you just got to get familiar and you've just got to give it a go. And most tools are either inexpensive or free just to get going. And I think that once you give it a try, your own kind of expertise or essence is going to come forward because you're going to say, okay, let me try and ask it this. And then you see something great and you say, let me try ask it that. And then kind of the snowball effect happens.
Yeah. It's almost like there needs to be like, and this is exactly why we're doing this, but like a real group chat for this, you know, like in itself, like to say, girls, have you tried this week? We've tried this and it's really helped with X, and just to keep. So maybe that's what we'll get better at. If we keep this conversation up, you can say, girls, this, you know, this is a great tool for marketing, or this is a great tool, and really kind of keep everyone informed, because like you say, unless you're exposed to it, there's a whole big world we're all missing out on.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think for women, like, representation is so important for them to see what's possible. Absolutely. So yeah, we have to keep the conversation going.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
I've absolutely loved this. I've loved seeing you, catching up, but I'm now off to download 3 different AI tools and get familiar.
Yes, and we'll get vibe coding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I might need a little bit of help on that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's so important that we talk about this and just to kind of know when to lean in to it. And I think it's really, really important.
I'm excited for the listeners because I think that a new world's going to open up for them.
Well, thank you. We hope so.
Yay.
I love that.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow us on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts to make sure that you don't miss out, because next time we're going to be joined by another incredible lady who launched. If, like me, you're a watcher, then follow us on YouTube, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.